So I was asked to come down and present to you on new roses for this year. Hopefully you guys don't fall asleep. And we're also going to go, if we have time, which I think we will, we're going to go over just some basic pests and diseases for your garden to watch out for this spring. We all kind of need that reminder every now and then. So let's get started. So I'm also going to cover a little bit about our nursery. We're celebrating 50 years this year. We think that's a pretty cool deal. We have a fancy logo there on the first page, so thank you guys. So a little bit about our nursery. My grandfather Otto and Grandma Jean started landscaping in San Fernando and Beverly Hills back in the 50s when they moved out from Chicago. And my grandpa came through when he was enlisted through California and decided this is the place to grow plants, not Chicago or where he was from, Germany. So he said, here's the place you want to garden. So he moved the family out here. In '75, started an actual nursery, pots on the ground. And from there, we moved up to Sylmar, grew to 2 acres. And then from Sylmar, we moved to where we're currently at now in Fillmore in the late 70s. From there, we slowly, they took on an old abandoned Valencia orchard, and so the nursery grew where the trees were dead. And then he nursed back to health of Valencias. And so we've slowly grown over years to where we're currently now, we're at 40 acres in nursery production. Most of that is devoted to roses. We also do fruit trees and perennials as well. Our company profile, so currently we service all the way from San Diego down here, all the way up to San Luis Obispo weekly, and then we also go to the Bay Area every couple weeks. We also ship stuff to Arizona and 1 or 2 trucks back east in the spring. Not a lot, but here's our main area. Our main customer is wholesale, is what we're kind of geared towards. We're geared towards the independent garden center. All of our roses go into Armstrong's, Walter Anderson. I should have looked at more nurseries down here, sorry. But a lot of independent garden centers. We don't do anything with Lowe's or Home Depots. And we thank you. We pride ourselves on quality. But we also sell into landscapers as well. We are open to the public, Wednesday through Saturday, 8 to 4. We have a 2-acre alphabetical rose section of all varieties that we carry. And we also have a 1.5-acre display garden we put in, which I'll cover in a second here. We do that all with 45 workers. With the best workers, our foreman's been with us for 40 years, and we've got our head driver's been with us 35 years, and his son works for us now as our garden shop manager. And we're a family business. We pride ourselves on that, and we grow a good quality product. I can't walk too far. If you haven't been to our website before, we like to. It's a resource for all different things on varieties and plant care. Sorry, it's not showing up too well, but you can go on there, make your wish list, take it to your local garden center. You can go on there to our learning center and watch videos on how to care for roses. Now, I would prefer probably to come here and learn from the rose experts that you guys have here at the meeting. They can definitely help you out as well. But our website's there as a great resource. So here's one of our growing fields. Right now we're doing about 180 plus varieties of edible fruit. I brought some herbaceous perennials back there because they're actually in bloom right now. We don't have a lot of roses in bloom, unfortunately. But in 2020, we advanced into doing companion plants with roses. And so lavenders, achillias, stuff that you can plant with your roses, right? That's kind of where we expand into. Currently, we do about 700 plus varieties of roses. We're always looking to expand that. Some of those varieties we might only grow 20 of. One of those varieties, Iceberg, we grow 30,000 of them. So, seriously. Yeah. The next closest variety to Iceberg is going to be Double Delight. We grow 2,500 of that one. It's an older variety, but it's still a classic. It's a great performer. So, and then it kind of goes down from there. So, this year we're slated to do 240,000 roses. Not quite, 250, but we're getting close. And so we're excited about that. Well, of course, all the different roses. In 2019, 2020, we installed a display garden because we saw the need to show our customers and landscapers what stuff looks like not in the container. And plus my mom wanted a garden. So we said, sure. So she's our head gardener, and she spends most days out there in the morning taking care of it. Half of it is a formal garden style, English garden style, designed by Michael Marriott out of the UK. He worked with David Austin. So very, garden rooms, very formal looking, and lots of David Austins. The other half, we call it our California style. That was us. We designed that. So it's got a barbecue area. It's got a pond with koi. It's got a edible garden. It's got Disneyland and all kinds of different varieties that are our favorites. It has a kids area. So if you do come and visit us, I know it's a drive from here, but we do have a place you can picnic and just kind of enjoy. And then we just recently put in our cottage garden, and this is a bunch of classic David Austins that we're trying to keep around. So that's our garden. We do a bunch of events at our nursery geared towards the public. And in January, we do a rose and fruit tree printing classes every Saturday. We do a tomato mania march. Rose Days is our big open house coming up here in April. I think it's on the back of the handouts that you guys just got. So all the actual dates, but we do a summer rose care class in June. And then our big one, or not a big one, April's our big one, but October is always a good one too. We do a fall sale as well for the whole month of October. So. All right, that's enough about us. I know you guys came here to hear actually about roses, not about me. So let's show. We actually had some good roses come out this year that we're going to talk about tonight. In the packet it was handed around. Thank you to everyone that helped hand those out. There's going to be. Let's see if I can walk up here. The front page is going to have a nice color pictures of the new varieties for this year. It might be missing one that we thought we weren't going to get, and then they ended up shipping it last minute. So that's why you always have to be on your feet. So if you want the most up to date, you can go to our website. But that's a fun color sheet of it. Second page in the packet is going to be English-inspired roses from other breeders. So we put that together this year. We always get a lot of requests for English-style roses. And then the last thing I included in that today was our full rose offering, rose list, and kind of what they look like right now. So there's that. All right. So let's talk about roses. We bring in berry roses from 4 of the main growers. So from Star Roses, Weeks Roses, Certified Roses, and then David Austin. And they release roses into the marketplace. We bring them in as bare root and pot them up and grow them on. Star is one of our main bigger suppliers, and up there you can see that they've got a lot of fun ones. I'm not going to read off the slide right here because we're gonna go into each one. If I'm in your way, tell me. Sorry. All right. So we're going to go through Star Roses first. This one is Garden Flame Sunbelt. It's going to emerge as a golden yellow, and then as it ages, which is kind of cool, it transitions to an orange and then reddish dark red. It's a sunblaze, so it loves the heat. And it is a floribunda, so it gets about 4 foot by 3 foot. The first time we saw this kind of color changing was with White Lies, which was a certified rose. I think it came out 2 years ago. It started out red and then went to white. Yeah. So that was kind of the color changing, and the breeders are having fun, it looks like. So another one I think is going to be really popular this year is Loves Me, Loves Me Not. It's over 200 petals to it, big 5-inch bloom. I think it's going to be a fantastic cut flower as long as you can grow long, great canes. It's going to be a very heavy flower, but great sweet fragrance. Your kind of typical hybrid tea, about 5 feet tall, 3 foot wide, but just a fantastic. I didn't count the petals, but I trust them. It's 200. Yeah. Another one, this is technically a release for 2026, but we do have a small offering for here in California of it. It's a Martha Stewart rose. We were actually involved in getting this rose named. We're friends with Rose Story Farm up in Carpinteria, and she's friends with Martha Stewart and Martha Stewart's gardener. and just decided that Martha needed a rose. And so we were actually, there's my dad in the back and Danny from Rose Story helping select it, and we got roses shipped out to New York for Martha Stewart to choose. So it's going to be a great pink. The fragrance is out of this world. It's going to be a great one, and it's a nice size, 3x2. So it is a little on the smaller side, but look forward to that one. If you don't get one this year, next year it'll be in the market full force. So that's a good one. Next one from Star is going to be Orange Brick House. This is a Floribunda that's part of their Brick House series. Their Brick House is known for being a compact plants, very disease resistant. Great, just continuous bloomer, beautiful foliage. And it does well in pots. It only gets about 2.5 by 2.5. So that's a good one. This is one we weren't sure we were going to get, but we ended up with. So Purple Aura is a new Floribunda for this year. Great fragrance, beautiful plum purple to it. It's not the best on the coast, so if you live inland in San Diego County, I'd recommend it. It's disease resistant, but it's not. You'll have some issues with black spot and stuff towards the coast. So, but again, I think it'll be a good one. Another very full flower. Not a lot of fragrance to it, but a very full red that gets a nice 5 foot, 3 foot. It's Tiamo. Very full, great disease resistance, and the red doesn't fade, which I know inland from here you guys have issues with that. So another fun variety that's good. That's out. People have been looking for more different flowers. So Winning Streak is kind of filling that one there. Pink with yellow stripes, and it needs cool-ish to have the stripes actually come out. If it's super hot, you won't see as many stripes. It'll be mainly pink. So just something to be aware of on that. But when you get the cooler nights, it's fantastic. No fragrance or anything to it, just a pretty flower, 2x2. Again, I think it'll be a nice shrub in the yard this year. All right, moving on to Weeks Roses. That was a lot for Star. So for Weeks Roses, they have a few to release this year, and the first one's going to be Angelic Veil. This is a nice 4-inch hybrid TE bloom, average fragrance, which I've never smelt it, so I don't know why you would advertise average fragrance, but okay. Great strong stem, so it'll be a good cut flower. It's supposed to be strong rust and powdery mildew resistant, but not black spot. It can still get black spot. So, and a true hybrid tea being 6 foot tall by 3 foot wide. So, look forward to that one this spring. Easy Charmer is one we don't know a lot about. We tried to find more pictures of it, and we've never grown it, so we're not sure. But it looks really nice. It's going to be an old-fashioned flower. Strong fragrance, nice foliage, and stay in that 2x2 range. So we're looking forward to growing that one this year. I don't have any personal experience with it yet, but looking forward to seeing that one. Fly So High is a new climber from Weeks. Slightly fruity fragrance and a strong disease resistance to it. It's going to grow up to 12 foot tall. So it'll get into your taller. It's not Cecil Bruner or anything, but it'll get you some height. All right. Weeks Roses also did In Love Again, which is a hybrid tea, and again, most roses nowadays all have strong to very good disease resistance, and this one, of course, has that. 4-inch blooms, mild fragrance on this one. It's again going to be great for cutting. And a kind of an average size hybrid tea at 4 foot tall. So I think it'll look good in your garden, hopefully not take over some of the big guys. Time After Time again is going to be a nice kind of pink salmony floribunda. Mild fragrance, again it's going to be a good cut in floribunda, and great disease resistance, so it should do well on the coast hopefully, and 4 foot by 4 foot. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one in person. All right, on to David Austin. We did get a few new ones from David Austin. And this year, Bring Me Sunshine is a new one. Picture on the right is from Help Me Find. How many of you guys use Help Me Find here? Perfect, it's my favorite site because I get people calling from all over asking for things that I've never heard of. But Help Me Find is a great site, and Help Me Find is on the right there, and the one on the left is from David Austin, so it's gonna be somewhere between there. Gold to yellow. No, I think it's gonna be a good one. Our colors are always a lot more vibrant than in California than what they see in England, and so this one's gonna be a good yellow, shade tolerant, which again, shade tolerant means it needs to have at least 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, not 100% shade. Nice 4-inch flower, good for cutting, and typical David Austin, 4 foot by 4 foot shrub. So that'll be a good one. Elizabeth is another new one that we were supposed to get last year, and then they didn't release it, and so we actually got it this year. We have it sitting at our nursery growing, which is great. It's nice, clusters are strong, beautiful, pink apricot tone that David Austin is famous for, 3-inch bloom, great disease resistance. Evelyn, the one everybody's been talking about online. It's returning for this year. We have a bunch of them in stock, hoping everybody wants one. Very strong fragrance, just almost thornless, 3-inch bloom. I'm sure a lot of you guys have one. I brought one today for part of the raffle, so hopefully you guys bought some tickets for that. But if you don't get it tonight, we do have plenty at the nursery. Scarborough Fair. This is one from 2003 that's getting kind of re-released. It's a fun white pink variety, and musky fragrance, and it is coastal and shade tolerant as well, so it'll do well on the coast. So 2.5-inch blooms, not massive, but a fun kind of multicolored 3x2 sized plant. All right, on to certified roses. So this year, I think I can say we exclusively have this, is Barbara's Baby. This is from Barbara Streisand, and it's I'm not sure how many we will end up with, but we do have some available. It's a sport off of Lasting Love that Barbara discovered at her garden in Malibu, and worked with Certified Roses to bring it to market. And it'll fully release in 2026, but we do have a limited offering of it. 5-inch flower, very fragrant, very good disease resistance. I haven't seen it in person, but from the picture, the foliage is going to be beautiful, and I think it'll be a good addition to Certified's portfolio. So we're looking forward to Barbara's Baby this year. Another one that we've been trying to get this onto the market for the last probably 4 years, I want to say, and every time we ordered it, we never got it, and so we finally actually got it. This one's Stephen Rouleau. It's that beautiful kind of tan, mauve, lavender, whatever color you want to call it, grandiflora, that I was talking with my dad about it, and he said, I guess Weeks actually rejected this rose because it was too close to Coco Loco, and so, so Certified Roses has it. It's a beautiful, 4 to 5-inch blooms with that unique color and moderate fragrance. So we will have that one available this year. Lastly, don't go on Amazon and buy roses. We get calls all. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that picture text to us and say, my customer wants this rose. What do you have? I tell them, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead and buy seeds off Amazon, but it's So just beware of we can't do all the different colors of the rainbow, but just beware of that type of stuff. So, any questions on new roses for this year? Perfect. Everyone's asleep. Oh, no, yeah. Yes?
I heard that David Austin is waiting to release Danahue. Do you know anything about that?
We were supposed to have Danahue. That's why, yeah, I think. Sorry, the question is, David Austin was supposed to release Danahue, and from what we heard from them, it was a quality issue, and so they didn't release it to everyone. which it happens. We understand it's nature. So we're hoping that they can get a good crop, and we'll see it next year. Yes, ma'am.
I was interested about Evelyn because it was out of commerce. So does this mean that it's just here this year, or is it?
Correct. It'll just be it'll be a David Austin release just for this year. As far as I know, they haven't told us anything about next year, but as far as I know, it's just a one-time deal.
Same with the Scarborough Fair.
Scarborough Fair we'll have for years to come. Evelyn is just, this is their one-time go. Any other questions? Perfect. All right, we're gonna move into diseases and insects. My favorite topic. It's what I went to school for. Yeah. All right. So disease and pest control. We're gonna go over the insects listed up here and also the diseases. If you guys have questions, please ask. Also, I'm not from San Diego, so if you do have more questions and I'm not around, please go into your local independent garden center. They'd be happy to help. They have rose experts, or come here every month and support your local rose society and gain from the knowledge in this room. So I'm not saying I'm 100% right either. This is my pest control disclaimer. What I do in my garden is what I think is best, and everyone always has their little secrets, and not secrets, little things that they do different. So, how many of you guys have had aphids already this year? I hope you didn't have them yet. Already? Yeah. With this beautiful weather we've been having, well, it was foggy when I drove down here. It was 83 at the nursery today, and all the new foliage is just growing super fast, and so we're expecting to see aphid any day. There's a few things you can do for them. I mean, you guys have all seen them. They start right up on the buds. You can go out there and squish them. You can go out there and hose them down, just a high pressure water nozzle. But eventually they'll take hold, and you'll need to do something about them. You can go and online or to your local garden center and get some lacewings. Lacewing larvae is our preferred biocontrol. It's what we like to use in the nursery. The reason we like that is they're a much better beneficial than ladybugs. Their larva eats more aphids than a ladybug. Not to say you can't do ladybugs as biocontrol. They look great. Kids and grandkids love them. You probably like them as well. So if that brings you joy, they still do help. They just don't. Their larvae don't eat as much as the lacewings. So both great biocontrol options. Do I go into no? The other options on aphid is you can use the Bayer 3-in-1, 2-in-1. For organic options, you can use neem oil. So those are some quick and easy options. Just be aware of aphids. They love that fresh, tender growth. They always come right before the first bloom, and you look outside and you've got the whole entire plant is covered in aphids. So just be aware of that here in spring when everything's starting to push out and you're getting that fresh growth. Spider mites, I don't know how often you guys get those down here, but probably, okay. Lots of spider mites. The main thing is just hosing the plants off, keeping them clean. Mites love dirty, dusty plants. And so, hosing them off won't kill them and get rid of them completely, but that's the first thing to start with. We overhead water our entire nursery. We don't use it for watering, we use it for pest control. It's to wash the plants. We hand water for watering purposes, but we use sprinkler overhead irrigation to clean the plants. You can do that in your yards as well, just don't do it at 6 o'clock at night so the plants stay wet all night and you end up with powdery mildew or downy the next morning. So go out and grab your cup of coffee in the morning and go out there and do it before lunchtime and hose them down. Water is a fantastic pest control option. Everyone has it in their yard and you don't have to go anywhere and get it. You just put your finger on the hose and wash the plants down. It does a great job. So for mites, that's a great one. Other one, there are some miticides on the market for homeowners, but the main thing to do is neem oil or an insecticidal soap. Yes, sir.
So you heard of like neem cakes? It's like it's a powder.
Yeah,
you sprinkle it on the soil, or you can make like compost, it.
Yeah, so the question is about neem cakes and if that works. I've never used one before, but neem oil, neem extract, which is azadirachtin, it's all from the neem tree. It's a fantastic, you can use either product for control. It's not fantastic on mites. It's better on thrips and aphids, but it does work. I don't know about putting in the soil and that type of thing. I've never done that. As far as I know, neem needs to be sprayed on the plant, and the insect has to come in actual contact with it. So that's mites. Thrips. Everyone's had thrips in their yards, I'm sure. Western flower thrips. I need to get a better picture. I'm sorry. That's a terrible one, but we all know what thrips damage looks like. Hopefully, it's that rasping damage on the flower buds. We of course never want to see that. Luckily, there are easy products out there that can control them. Spinosid's a fantastic one, which is Captain Jack's or Monterey Garden Insect Spray, both widely available and do a great job on them. And the next one, luckily this pest is easily killed with the Captain Jack's and Monterey Garden Insect Spray as well. But this is our newest one. We don't get a lot of new pests on roses, thank goodness. But this one's been a kind of a terror for the last few years. Chili thrips arrived about 2005. Loves the warm weather and goes after our new growth. And it just makes it look like it's not a blowtorch, but just that kind of awful rasping of the new growth, and you get this distorted new leaves out there. We get calls all the time of people wondering what happened to my plant, because it's really discouraging to see that happen to your beautiful rose that you have. And it's those big old black streaks on the new growth. And distorted leaves. Best thing to do, cut that off and do a treatment with that Monterey Garden Insect Spray or Captain Jack's, and keep an eye on that new growth. They do kind of surge in May, June, and then they can again with the fresh growth in the fall as well. So just something to keep in mind on those. Luckily they die easily though, so that's a good thing. Rose slug, you guys probably see some of this down here. That kind of lacy look on the leaf, and you'll probably never see the actual rose slug. You'll just see the damage. The only thing you can do for that is treat preventatively on a rotation. I'll be right with you. And again, the Spinosid product is a fantastic one to kill this, since it is a fly. Yes, ma'am. Question in the back. I think it's Captain Jack Dead Bug. Yeah. If you look on the bottle on the front, it'll say Spinosad is the active ingredient too. All right. We're flying through. I should have prepared more slides, sorry. Leaf cutter bee. Please don't, if you see this damage in your garden, please leave them. Let them be. I know you can do some things to kind of chase them off, but they're a great part of our ecosystem. And so if you do have them, just know that this damage, it's not the end of the world. I know if it's for your flower show coming up, it could be the end of the world. But just know that that's a leaf cutter bee. It's not snails, it's not anything else. They're not gonna harm the plant, they're just gonna take something to go, take a portion of it to go back to build their nest. So try and leave them alone. If you have to do something about them, you can talk to me after the meeting. We can talk about some control options. No. Powdery mildew. Has anybody had powdery mildew yet this year? Not yet this year? Okay, I haven't either. It's time though. It's right around the corner. I know it's coming. I feel it. The weather's changing and it's coming. So, powdery mildew, washing the plant helps. Doesn't control it at all, but it helps. It does, keeping the foliage clean and trying to wash those spores off. Best thing to do for powdery mildew is increase that, doing your dormant prunings and working with that, increasing your air circulation and keeping the foliage clean, and then can do preventative sprays as well, organic or conventional. So do I go into? I think I go into. Sorry, I go into more diseases at the end here, and then I can give you some control options. So black spot's another one to watch out for, especially if some of the weather guys are saying we're going to get back into some moisture in March here with some rain coming. We'll see if they're correct or not, but black spot's one to keep an eye out for. It can get in there and defoliate your plant. Rust, if you had some leaves left over from last year, you're probably starting to see some rust now. This one's easily controlled with copper application, or if the leaves are from last year, you can pick them off as well. But rust is one too. You can easily tell it from flipping the leaf over, and you can it looks like actual rust on the back of the leaf. Yes, sir. So black spot and powdery mildew, you can use neem oil, copper soaps, and then on the organic side, and then on the conventional side, I believe there's it's a red bottle called Daconil out there, and also one called Immunox are kind of the two main conventional ones. I know some of you guys might use the 3-in-1 from Bayer. The fungicide in that, I wouldn't rely on it entirely. Moving that fungicide is not a very mobile active, and so it doesn't actually, especially going from the roots up to your super fast growing growth that has powdery mildew on it. Don't rely on that. So you might see some disease come up if you are using that 3-in-1. Yes, ma'am.
Let me use Mancozeb.
Yeah, Mancozeb. Yeah, it's a.
Do you feel like it's?
Yeah, we actually use it in the nursery. It's a good one. I'm not sure what. The product is called Mancozeb. Manganese, copper, zinc. Yes. I'm not sure of a homeowner product for it. There might be one out there, but I'm not sure.
Comes in a concentrate now, like for like a home gardener now.
Okay, it is. Okay, I'm not aware of it, unfortunately. But yes, that's one of the products we use in the nursery that works well for us. One more question in the back. Yes, ma'am. So question is, when do you use Captain Jack's versus the neem oil? Captain Jack's is when you want to control the thrips mainly, is mainly what you're going to use that for. Western flower thrips or the chili thrips. And so that's typically a little bit later in spring here when we have, typically like at the nursery, it's when the hillsides start to dry down and the thrips will come out of the surrounding areas and onto your nice lush green roses is kind of the timing. So it's a little bit later in spring. Aphid is the first pest, and you could deal with that with the neem oil. But the neem oil will kill the thrips. It just has to actually suffocate them. That's how the neem oil works. And so sometimes if you spray the neem oil today, it'll be gone tomorrow, and the insect can come back. So just be aware of that. All right, there's rust. Downy mildew. Did anybody have downy mildew last year? Yeah, it was an interesting year for downy mildew. Downy mildew is one of those diseases. You look at your rose this evening, it looks fantastic. You go back out tomorrow, and it's defoliated, and it's heartbreaking. But it's a high humidity, mid temps. It's a terrible disease. And it'll get those kind of distinctive black lesions, or black disease on the canes, and show up on the leaves like that as well. So be aware of it. There's not a lot, unfortunately, you can do with it organically. The Immunox and Daconil are the two conventional fungicides that work on it. And unfortunately, it's kind of a preventative thing. If you see weather coming for downy mildew, it's the thing you want to treat for. So it's those later spring rains when we have a plant full of foliage that we have to watch out for this disease. Viruses. Do you guys have viruses in your yard?
Yes.
It shows up. We try and rogue all the viruses out at our nursery. That's one benefit of buying, not just berry roses, but buying roses from a nursery that grows them out is we try and catch them. Some of them get through, unfortunately, and the same thing from our growers. But all of our stuff we buy in is virus indexed, and it's supposed to be virus free. But for some reason, we still see small quantities coming through, and so we try and root those out. If you ever have it in your yard, it's not a death sentence, but it eventually that plant will start to decline and go downhill quickly. So, just something to be aware of, that kind of yellow mottling. It does like to show up kind of end of spring when the plant starts to get that first summer heat. When the plant gets stressed, that's kind of when virus will really show its face. Herbicide damage. Anybody ever admit to a little bit of Roundup around the roses? Yeah. You can nurse it back to health from this. It takes about 3 to 4 years. It's not, unless it was mom's rose, it's not worth it. Tear it out and put a new one in. Go find a new variety that you like. And it doesn't take much Roundup. You could be spraying it across your yard, and if the wind is just ever so slightly, they can do that. So, kind of rule of thumb: if you are spraying herbicide, try and stay as far. Make sure there's no breeze blowing, and keep it really low to the ground. Also, make sure you have a completely separate sprayer for your herbicide than your insecticides and fungicides. Whether that be a 1 or 2 gallon or a hose end sprayer, completely separate. Don't try and say, okay, I'm just going to wash it out and use it on my roses. We've seen it happen too many times. And if you guys have gardeners come around and mow your lawns as well, mention to them of please be careful around the roses, because they're very sensitive to glyphosate or Roundup. So just be aware of that damage.
Question for you about Roundup.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry, I didn't see it.
Which doesn't apply to any of us, because I'm sure we don't use it.
Yes.
But I'd like to understand the mechanism. You said 3 to 4 years. What is causing it to persist and affect your growth in the following years?
Yeah, so the question is, what does the Roundup do to cause the plant for year after year? It just takes. It's the way the Roundup actually binds to the growth receptor growth in the plant, I guess is the simple way to put it. And so that it takes a while for that Roundup molecule to get out of the plant, and for the plant to just overcome that damage, if that makes sense. So there's other options, to Roundup, and so we hope you look at using those. Rose rosette disease. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause on this for so long, but a lot of the times we get calls on Roundup, and they're like, "Oh, I've got rose rosette disease. I promise." It's not. It's Roundup. Your neighbor sprayed it. It came from somewhere. Currently, we don't have rose rosette here in California. We're hoping to keep it that way by bringing in clean stock, and we also don't have the mite here that spreads it yet. And so by keeping both of those things out, we won't have to deal with this disease. So, but be aware of what it looks like, and if you do think you have an issue, please contact your local county cooperative UC cooperative extension, and be happy to help you out, or text pictures to us, or bring pictures to the Rose Society meeting here. Green eye. Do you guys like this or hate it? Some people love it, some people hate it. Did anybody have Fisherman's Friend? David Austin? It had this all the time. It had this green eye.
I have a Port Sunlight
Okay.
that does the same thing.
Yeah. So a lot of different varieties will do this, and it's a response. It's typically a nitrogen response where the plant has too much and it just wants to grow, and what it does is actually the seeds will start to grow, and so it's kind of a genetic / fertilizer response. It's fine. Your plant's not gonna do this all the time. It can just be a one-time thing, and so you can, if you like it, keep it. It's kind of fun. But if you don't like it, just trim that bloom off, and the plant will continue to grow and give you normal bloom. So this isn't a reason to take out the rose, but it's a great. It's kind of fun. I enjoy it. Okay, with that, I probably went a little too fast, but This is us. If you have this, you can scan that with your phone for your QR code that takes you to our website. You can contact us there, email, phone number, text. We'd be happy to help with any rose questions. We of course want you to come consult with your Rose Society here first, but we're always there as well. And we hope you enjoy roses this year. And with that, I will take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
Is it true that both Walker Anderson and Armstrong are able to order roses for us from you?
So the question is, thank you. I should have said that. I'm a terrible salesman. I'm sorry. If you guys would like to purchase roses from us, you're always welcome up at our location in Fillmore. It's about a 3-4 hour drive away. If you don't want to do that and you just need one specific rose that we carry, you can go into your local Armstrong Garden Center or Walter Anderson, or Green Gardens as well. There's one other independent I'm missing down here, but they can bring the roses in for you. They'd be happy to order them from us, and we deliver them depending on the store, weekly or bi-weekly. So they'd be happy to help out. But we of course would love to have you guys up to visit our gardens. Don't come right now. The gardens are all green. They're not. I mean, it's still nice, but come when it looks like this. There's some postcards on the back table there, along with pens. You guys can grab. Kind of has just a little bit of information about us. So, any other questions? Yes, in the back. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming out. So first question was who had been up there. That was who raised their hand. So thank you guys so much for coming up. Next question is, are the lists of what roses we have in our gardens on our website? Not yet. I'm working on building a web page, but for some reason we have really nice weather in February and everyone wants to buy plants already, so we're busy. I'm sorry. But yeah, we are working on a separate web page that'll have all of our lists of what we have in our gardens and stuff. We actually just went through and we pulled out roses that we didn't like this year. I won't tell you which ones, but yeah. But we also have all the new roses I talked about. We have a new rose section of them, and so you can come up and see them. They're small bare roots at this point, but they're coming. Question in the back. I'll work my way around. Yes, ma'am.
As far as your gardens go, I know your climate is warmer than probably a lot of ours down here, but which ones are like your tried true up in your display gardens that you like?
What I like or what everyone else? No, I'm kidding. So the question was, what is our favorite? I really like State of Grace. If it had fragrance, it would be a fantastic variety. I should start with, I really like apricots with that pinky tone. I'm at Carding Mill, Jubilee Celebration. I'm a sucker for that type of flower. But State of Grace, just the plant and the foliage looks great. If it had fragrance, it would be my favorite. But I mean, my favorite is probably still Jubilee Celebration. It blooms and blooms. Yeah, there's a lot of great ones, but I'll bore you with those two. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so, that was for Barbara's baby. She asked what is a sport? A sport is a mutation genetically from a existing variety, and so in Barbara's baby's case, it came off of falling in love, and so it was a single cane came off. You might have it in your yard, and most of the time they're not great looking, or they're so close you'll never know the difference. But this one was very different than falling in love. No, lasting love. Lasting love. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Lasting love. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. And so they took that sport, which came off of that initial variety, and took it off on its own, and took it into the breeding cycle or into their breeding process, and evaluated it to make sure it was a good variety for the marketplace, and they're slowly introducing it here. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
So you have 4 suppliers. When I go to Walker Anderson, I haven't seen Otto and Sons. Is it going to show Wheat's roses still? If it's
Correct. Yeah. So we are not rose breeders. We did release. We named some varieties 2 years ago, but we don't do the actual rose breeding. That's a whole nother step in the process. So it won't say Otto and Sons, it'll say grown by Otto and Sons Nursery, and really tiny, you probably can't read it. That's our claim to fame, that grown by. But yeah, it's still a weeks, we grow Weeks, Star, David Austin, and certified varieties.
Are you kind of just a distributor then?
Yes, technically we're a middleman type, yeah. But
You take them and kind of grow them?
correct, we bring in bare roots by the truckload, pot them up on our potting line. Actually, I've included some pictures of that, sorry. It's an impressive process. We can do about 10,000 plants a day on our 2 potting machines with our crew of 16. And so, but yeah, so we pot up we hand prune every bare root to make sure it's, you know, doesn't have broken branches or ugly or anything like that. And then we'll take it out in the field and it's put in our custom soil mix that we do there on site, and it's grown and then rooted out, and hopefully we ship it to you with buds and blooms on it, ready to go into your garden.
It's worth the drive up. It's very nice.
I will another one more advertisement. In April we do our open house. We do a sale, of course, but the main part of the open house, we do walking tours of our whole entire facility, and so we'll take you around and show you kind of what we do. It's kind of fun. Yes, sir.
Now, I've been on your website, and you normally tell how many you have in stock. I'm just wondering how accurate that is. How often is that updated?
So that is-
Sometimes it says 2. So,
That is updated every 15 minutes,
okay.
as long as I didn't mess it up. It's very accurate, but it's as accurate as our inventory is, which unfortunately we're not dealing with widgets, we're dealing with live plants, and so those 2 that show out there, they might not be the best looking, and we might actually cull those eventually. But we do go through and inventory our facility continually, but we do 2 large inventories a year. But we do pride ourselves on it. It's pretty accurate. If you get down to 5 of something, give us a call and we'll actually get eyes on it. But our inventory is accurate. Right now it says a lot of the items say ready in spring. That's because they're still too small to ship, and so those will be ready truly in March and April here. So, any other questions? Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting over here. Sorry. Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you could contrast the last 2 warm portions of the year with regards to chili thrips at your fields. Do you see any trends in terms of plants that were affected?
So the question was, do you see any trends on where chili thrips shows up and the warmth and the heat? I always go and look at Cecil Brunner first in our nursery. I'm not sure why. We always see that. Well, actually, I know why. We grow Cecil Brunner in a 15-gallon climber, and they're about 7-foot tall stakes. When you're walking the row, they're about 9 feet tall. It's protected. It's a large plant mass, and Cecil Brunner it keeps growing and growing. So our crew stays on top of it, keeping them trained. But I don't know why, but the chili thrip seems to love showing up on that one and iceberg climbers. Typically, I'll spot them there first, and then out in the nursery. But typically, we'll do a spray of, it's a commercial product of spinosad, but that'll take care of them. Luckily, first off, they are a pain, but luckily they die easily, and so we, as long with proper looking at your roses and catching it early, you can spray and kill them with a very safe product. So hopefully that helps. Any other questions? Oh, yes, ma'am.
I definitely want to come up and see what place. It's not the same place next to
Yeah.
but where would I stay? What else can I do if they're talking about 4 hours?
Definitely. We don't have Disneyland by us, sorry. So the question is, what else is there to do in Ventura County where we're at? We are kind of in the middle of nowhere. I apologize for that. It was, Grandpa Otto chose the spot. We're actually the first nursery in Ventura County. Now our whole valley is full of nurseries. And we chose it he chose it, smart guy, that he chose it for the quality of groundwater we have and the growing environment. It's great. The only big downside is we do get Santa Ana winds, and they do get a little crazy sometimes. But there's up in Ojai, there's museums and stuff to go to. In Fillmore, we've got a regional bakery that grows all their own meat and stuff. That's fun to go to. What else is there? There's Magic Mountain if you like roller coasters.
Do you have an Airbnb on your property?
We do have a small Airbnb on our property that we're trying. I don't know if we're convinced yet, but we're trying it.
Aren't you near Simi?
We're near Simi Valley, yeah.
So Reagan Library.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, Reagan Library is right over the hill. That's a great one. They have the Dead Sea Scrolls there, I think, still. But they get some really good. They have Air Force One there, which is really cool. They get some fun exhibits. So there's things to do up there. I should probably put a list of that on our website of what things to do near us. But we are in the middle of nowhere. We acknowledge that. So yeah. But all right. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. If you need anything, there's my contact, and have a great evening.